All right, what's up, everyone? Alex Boylan here, co-founder of Dream Jobbing. And with us today for 5 questions with is Rachel Sawden, the beautiful Rachel in the beautiful island of her hometown, Bermuda. Pretty awesome. For those who don't know, Rachel is a massive travel influencer. She's an author of the book Runaways, and she's done a lot of on-camera hosting for stuff like Travel Channel and the Tourism Authority of Bermuda. She is living the dream life, and we couldn't be more excited to dive into how you got to where you got to, Rachel.
Thanks. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
This is awesome. Okay, so Rachel, let's start from the beginning. When did you say, I want to be a travel influencer? I want to travel the world, do really cool stuff, and make a living for it. When did that spark in your head?
Definitely when I was a child. Always wanted to go off into the world and see the most far-flung places I could possibly find. I was always an explorer at heart. And then anything in travel really wasn't sort of presented to me. I'd always thought maybe, one day I'll be a travel writer. And then sort of grew up, went to university, came out of university. But when I was in university, I was sitting there in lecture halls just saying, I don't really want to be here. I want to be off seeing the world, seeing something. I don't want to be sitting here in this lecture hall. And so after university, I had a friend who was talking about going traveling, backpacking around the world. And so I was like, well, yeah, I'm coming with. So I got a job. My one time I've had a 9 to 5, saved up my money, and then quit and took off to do 8 months in India, Southeast Asia, Australia, New Zealand, Fiji, and Europe, and just kind of blew my entire life savings and went till I was too tired to move and just kept going till I had to come home.
That's so awesome. So what do you think is the most challenging aspect of going from where you were, from the dream of saying this is the life I want, to actually accomplishing it as you have done?
Looking back, I mean, the biggest challenge has been largely just figuring out how to make it work sort of financially. But I've been in a good position where I can take a lot of, I built a reputation taking a lot of different hustles. I can do a lot of different things, and I can bartend, literally people will see me on different jobs throughout the day and be like, how many jobs do you have? I'm like, doesn't matter. I'm doing what I need to do. So yeah, I mean, bartending, writing, pretty much what, you got a job for me, I'll do it. And I can stash cash so I can book a ticket and go somewhere. So I'd say that, and also just believing in myself, believing that it's possible. That's the big thing. You can only really believe something is possible if you feel it's available to you. So once you kind of get over that hurdle of yeah, I could do this, this is available to me, then you can figure out how to make it happen.
Yeah, that's fantastic. What's your advice for someone younger, the 2019, the younger person who's I want to be a travel influencer. I want to host and write books. How many people dream of this, Rachel? I mean, there's millions, right? And very few actually accomplish it as a full time. So what's your advice to the younger generation? The next Rachel Sawden.
I'd have to say one, believe it's available to you. First of all, that's the big step. If you can believe that you can do it, then figuring out how is the next hurdle, but it's easy once you figure out you want to do it. Research. Figure out how it's done. Study people who do it. Figure it out. So many people will answer your DMs. Slide into their DMs. Hey, what's up? Can you tell me about how you got into this? So many people, you'd be surprised how helpful people can be. And again, with that same thing is networking, because you never know who you might talk to. Hey, I want to do this. I want to work on a set. I want to be an on-camera host. And someone's like, oh my gosh, I know somebody who needs a set PA. And then if you had not said that person, none of this would be put in motion. So a lot of it's just kind of putting yourself out there, networking, figuring out how, and believing that it's possible.
Awesome advice, Rachel. Awesome advice. Okay, so you're so popular. We have 2 questions from our Dream Jobber students, right, for you. First question is, what is your favorite Instagram picture that you've posted and why?
Okay, so it's got to be, I have a lot of favorites, but if I had to choose one, it would be a photo that I have of me in a little canoe canoeing down this river in Siargao Island in the Philippines, because it took me 2 trips to the Philippines just to get this photograph. So I went there in February last year, and I only went to Siargao because I seen it on, Instagrams of people like Jackson Groves and all these big influencers. So I was like, I need to go to that place. That place looks amazing. And so this river shot was one of the shots I had to get, but everything was wrong. I mean, I showed up in Siargao with strep throat. I felt terrible every day. Every time we drove past, it was either raining or it was too dark or I couldn't get out of bed. So I was like, okay, let it go. I'm not getting this photograph. And then so I went to Bali, hung out in Bali, met a friend who is also an Instagram content creator, YouTuber. And she really wanted to go to the Philippines and she wanted to go to Siargao Island. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go too. Like, let's go get this photograph. And so just went, and it was just a dream come true, just getting there. And then all the local village boys came out to watch us take photographs, and they went and got us a canoe, and they were helping us like we get too far and then they swim out and drag the canoe back. And it's also just everything that went into this photograph of just these lovely village boys who are also, I had to photo because I wanted it to look like I had it to myself, but I did Photoshop one kid out of the water. But it was manic. The whole village was there, jumping off this tree, swimming around us, yelling from the banks. And it was so much fun just getting that photograph. But if you look in my Instagram story highlights under Philippines 2, you can see the mayhem of getting that photograph. And it was so much fun mayhem.
That is an incredible story, Rachel. And what great advice, because the time, the energy, the financial impact, all the things that go into making you one photograph, but that one photograph can make her, be that one catalyst that takes you to the next level as an influencer.
Yeah, absolutely. And that photograph did go viral. So it was very exciting to kind of keep getting notifications of reposts on these massive pages with millions of followers. So I was like, okay, it was definitely worth it.
That is so cool. Yeah. That is awesome. Okay, so 5th and final question. This is another one from our Dream Jobber students. And this question is about your book, Runaways. Mm-hmm. It's Runaways about your personal life story. Because it's a fictional book, right?
It's fiction. It is fiction. Novelists hide their secrets in plain sight. So basically, the story came about. It came about as a personal challenge. It was always something I wanted to do ever since I was a kid, to write a book. And so when I came back from the first trip back in 2010, when I did 8 months around the world, I was just obsessed with my travels, and I could not stop talking about it. Then people got tired of hearing me talk about it. So I was like, okay, let me write about it. And so then, because actually writing your journal is kind of boring, I ended up buying a whole bunch of books on fiction writing and character and basically screenwriting, how to write stories. And I created these characters and set them loose on the adventure from the places that I'd just come from. And so that was very fun. So a lot of stuff, there is stuff that was inspired by true events that happened, but yeah.
You're blurring fact and fiction.
Yes, yeah. It's always lines.
That's great. That's great. Well, Rachel, thank you so much for doing 5 questions with. I'm going to make sure that everyone is following you on Instagram. Your journeys, travels, make me jealous every single day. But thanks for doing this. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right. Cheers, Rachel.